Thanks for tuning in to a very special episode of the Blue Couch Conversation where I get to sit down with the one and only Colleen Bauer. Thank you for joining me on your Blue Couch. So, Fairy Godmother, it took time, it took homework. How did it all begin?
It began really on accident. So I come from a family of 4 girls who loved to entertain. My mom loved to entertain, so we were her party helpers right away. And so it was kind of in my blood, but it really came from the Business Women's Conference. So from the conference needed some updates, and so I met with several vendors that we had used for past events and things, and they came in and from the conference I had a couple of them say, you really should be considering doing events. And I didn't really know what they meant.
Right.
And I had one in particular that said, you'd be a great day of coordinator, just do day of, because I was doing really well at the bank and things were going really good there. And she said, just do day of, I can keep you busy all day long. And I said, well, maybe I'll do one a month. And so I spent, the conference was over in April, and I spent from April to really October, just what do they do? What do day of coordinators do? Who is here in town? How much business is there? How many weddings are there? I did all my homework. And then I had a friend getting married in October at the bank. And, I talked to her in October. She was getting married in January. And so that was the first wedding, and it was really fun. I walked away from that wedding and I thought, okay, that was fun. I could do that again. And met with her, and I really feel like that meeting with her was probably the most important thing one of the most important things I've done with Fairy Godmother, because I really found out from her, where did your vendors come from? Where did your niche come from? And she gave me a lot of really good advice on a bride's point of view, which really helped, I think, launch Fairy Godmother, because I took a lot of what she had to say and used it. And so it launched. It was the wedding in January. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have a website. The colors are lime green and coral. We didn't have a logo. We had nothing. We basically had a business card that I had made from Vistaprint that was lime green. That was it. And the name.
Oh, how the times
And
have changed.
it rolled, snowballed. The first year we did 21 weddings, all word of mouth. We had nothing else. It was all word of mouth.
And so at the time when Fairy started, you've seen lots of planners come and go, but what was the market like when you started?
When I started, there were about 4 real strong event planners / wedding planners that were in town, and it was interesting because the team that I had at the time were getting kind of nervous because all these different wedding planners were popping up, and I had been keeping all the business cards of all the different event planners or wedding planners in town, and I laid them all out on a table and showed the team, here's everybody's cards. And then I pushed all the cards aside from the planners that were no longer in business and the ones that were left, and it was shocking to see. And I think it really comes from when I first started Fairy Godmother. I went to Kyle from the Bridal Association, and I had known Kyle for a really long time, and he gave me really, really good advice. He said, wedding planners come and go. He said a photographer, a videographer, a cinematographer, a DJ, they have a very expensive equipment that they have to purchase. For wedding planners, you buy a business card, and you just did your sister's wedding or your wedding, and I'm a wedding planner. And he said, if you're going to do it, Colleen, do it and do it right, and stay in it and stay with it. And that advice, I really took that to heart, and I spent a lot of time thinking about, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to stay in it and make sure that it's successful. And so wedding planners and event planners, it's a lot of work. And we've oftentimes had people call us and say, I want to be a wedding planner. I want to do events with you. And so within one event with us, we can tell if they're going to make it or not. When they ask us, how often do I have to move chairs, or do I have to move tables, or how many linens do I have to put down?
Yep.
It's physical work. It's physical and emotional work. It's not being an event producer, I guess, if you want to put everything under one umbrella, is so much more. A lot of people think it's making things look pretty, and it's being a counselor and a psychiatrist and being a friend and being a buddy and being the tough guy and being the mean person sometimes in a really nice way. You have to boss everybody without them know they're being boss, and everybody has to report to you, but nobody reports to you. It's very tricky. And I think And I believe that, your best wedding planners are the ones that are in it for the right reason.
Right.
I mean, the business will come if you just take care of the client.
So segueing off of that, what has Fairy Godmother brought you personally? Like that sense of fulfillment, or like now that you've achieved, because we celebrated 10 years in January.
This coming January will be 10 years.
There we go.
Yeah.
So
sense of fulfillment. I have to say the foundation. Foundation's been not something that I had expected that would mean so much. I just seeing the couples, the couples that we've had and the couple that we currently have, it's so special. It's the single thing I'm most proud of within Fairy Godmother. That, and interestingly enough, watching the team grow, like watching our team and figuring out where their strengths are and watching them flourish in those strengths is really fun for me.
So you've made note there's a wedding coordinator, a wedding planner, an event producer, an event planner. What is the difference?
Very confusing, isn't it?
Yes.
So when we first started Fairy Godmother, we purposely focused only on day of coordination.
Okay.
So the first year, that's all we wanted to do. Although we kept having clients say, will you please plan our event, or will you please do more than just the day of? And so little by little we did. But the first year is strictly day of coordination. Well, in the wedding world, because as a team, we spend a lot of time outside of Bakersfield as well. And we purposely go to conferences and we attend, different types of training. And they really have tried to get our world out of saying day of coordination, because it's not just day of. You really are starting sometimes with the client 6 months in advance. So we now call that event day management, because you're really managing the day for them. So we also stopped using the word day of coordinator, because we're not just a day of coordinator. Even when you hire us to do your wedding day management, we do way more than what a day of coordinator would do. So we don't use the term anymore. Then we started saying, okay, well, if we're not going to use day of coordinator, should we be called an event planner, a wedding planner? And the more and more that I learned, again, from other, different types of trainings and things that we had been, when I looked at what our team does with Fairy Godmother, we really produce the whole event, whether it be day of or whether it be, full planning. That's what we are. We are event producers, whether it be wedding, a baby shower, a social party, or corporate party. We're producing the entire event. Our job is to make sure that whole event comes together. So that's why about a year ago, we changed our title completely just to Fairy Godmother, where we truly are more than just a day of coordinator, more than just an event planner, wedding planner, or an actual event producer. So that's the difference.
I like it.
Does that help?
That's a lot of information. But I think I get it.
Good.
Perfect. So backtracking a little bit, I know why, but why did you start the foundation?
The foundation, actually, we were about 3 years into Fairy Godmother, and truly our kind of creative partners had been so good to us and had given us so many, great referrals and leads. And I don't know, I was thinking one day, I want to do something to give back. Like I want not necessarily giving back to our creative partners, but something that we could all be proud of, that we could do together. And it took about a year to get it kind of off the ground. And I felt like it was a way of saying thank you to the community, and something that we could bring creative partners together. And I will tell you, I think it was our second wedding, we had 3 florists together in a competitor's florist shop, which I took photographs of it, because these were florists that were not like, it's not that they disliked each other or anything, it's just they were competitors. I mean, they would compete against each other, and to see them all come together for this one couple, to make their day beautiful, it was incredible.
Giving back to a community that built Fairy, so that works out.
Cool. Yeah.
So as couples are planning, maybe they're not even engaged yet, but when that happens, what is your best piece of advice that you would give to couples?
Best piece of advice is keep in mind at the end of the day that you're still getting married. I think people get so caught up, and you get so caught up in the glitz and the glam of the wedding and the flowers and the cake and the venue, and don't lose each other in the process. I also would say to the brides, involve your, the brides or the groom and groom,
Right.
depending, but involve your significant other. Sometimes there's one person that's running with it and spearheading it, and they leave the other person behind.
Right.
And so I say it's really important to include, each other and find out if you're the person that's really running with it. Find out from the other person how much involvement do they want. Sometimes they want to be really, really involved, and sometimes they really don't want to, and they just want to be involved in a couple of things. So I would say that. I would also say, whether it be fairy godmother or another event producer or event planner, hire early, don't wait. Because sometimes you get, into it and you might not have picked the best photographer, the best DJ, or, there's might be other vendors that we can help you with. We can save you time and we can save you money, because if you come to us and say, I'm looking for a particular style, I'm looking for a particular venue, we can pretty much tell you, here's the 3 that we recommend. And,
exactly where to go.
We can really guide them along the way. So.
Okay. So on that note, where do you see Fairy Godmother going from here?
I see Fairy Godmother growing, most definitely. Definitely beyond Bakersfield, without saying too much.
I was about to say,
but definitely
just
growing.
enough to tease the audience
yes,
here. Okay.
for sure.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining me
Thank
on
you
the
for
Blue
having
Couch Conversation. We'll see you next week. Be sure to subscribe and like our YouTube channel.
Darling, I love you. You say goodbye. Away you fly. But on your lips you keep a kiss. All your life you'll